Well, hello there. Good afternoon. Sorry we didn't get on at 11:30. Actually, I'm not. I was with a customer. Iz was ready to go, like always, but I was talking kayaks. So
I do it.
it's fun times. Not a whole lot of folks coming in and shopping the kayaks because it's a little chilly.
Yeah, it's not quite kayak
But
season yet,
but
but
there's some
we'll take what we can get.
there's some guys out there doing it. So, guys, we're jumping on. Drop some questions in if you've got any. Um, we're taking a moment out of the cold outside. Hope everybody's doing well. Um, looks like I am getting.
There you go.
All right.
Me, big
Uh,
Auburn fan, Alabama fan over here, so roll tide.
no, I can't. I can't even. No. But I'm an Auburn grad, so it's kind of hard to, you know. Hmm. Anywho, so if you want to not watch anymore, but you do have him, I think we're about 50-50 split in the shop.
Pretty close.
So I'm going to claim it at
Well,
least.
well, we got some Tennessee fans too, so it kind of messes up our
All right.
numbers a little bit.
Well, so what's been going on down in service? Y'all staying busy?
Yes. Yes. Don't know which ends up right now.
You got an idea of how far out for folks
Yes.
scheduling stuff right now?
Yes.
So if you need work, get in now. Is that?
Well, services, just normal services, not too bad. If you put a bunch of value edits in there, it's going to stretch you out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's broken,
So I don't know that we've probably haven't hit on that too much all that recently, but yeah. So if you've got just regular scheduled service on your motors, you can call and schedule that. And I know I've seen a few of my customers that have come through in the past couple of years getting in for 100 hour on their motors. They come in, show up about 8, 9 in the morning, and they're out by lunch. But they probably called 3 months ago and scheduled that, if I had to guess. So that's the way we work around here. But like Iz said, if you come in and you're like, oh, can you take a look at this and take a look at this, suddenly it can't be done so quickly. So that's the way we do business around here, and it seems to work pretty well.
yeah.
So, and I guess well, we're not all that far from tournaments ramping back up.
February,
Yeah. Oof.
like tomorrow almost.
All right. I read that a little bit. Sales question. Considering the purchase of a new pontoon CE carry Crest, previously considered a Bentley, please offer the pros and cons of each. So I guess that's mainly a sales question. So I guess I'll throw this out there. Um, the fit and finish, and you correct me if you think differently, but fit and finish, I think you're very comparable between the boats in terms of like your structural stuff. The Bentleys are definitely a more budget friendly. I hate to say that because that people interpret that as it's cheap. Crest tends to be a little higher end boat.
Bells and whistles.
Yeah, bells and whistles, that kind of stuff. So, and one major difference is that Bentley doesn't really have a high end boat. Your Bentleys are going to cap out in, which of course is still a high price, but you're talking 60s. I mean, you could probably load out a Bentley and get into the 70,000 range, but Crest offers a line of boats that the sky's the limits. So that's kind of the major difference. The Bentleys last year was our first year with them. Very impressed with them, and they're just a great boat.
We sold a lot of them. So.
Yeah, we sold a lot of both. I mean, Crest is a phenomenal brand owned by Mastercraft now. We've been selling them here for many years. We're one of the largest Crest dealers. But that's typically what you'll find is the major differences. But yeah, I mean, if you really want to get into the real nuts and bolts between them, then I'd tell you get with a salesperson, get on the phone, and they can take you through all of that, depending on what you're looking for. But I don't know, any other thoughts from the service side of them, they're
No,
pretty
I
much
mean
all
it's
rigged
just
the same. You put the motor on the stern and go.
yeah, just some of them are a little more simple than others.
Yeah.
I think Sean, if you got a prop question, just throw it out there and we'll answer it as it goes down the line.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean, go ahead. Hey, Tim.
Timmy.
Let's see here. All right. I didn't have time to read this whole thing. So, hey, guys, it's me again. So, anyways, after running my 200 Opti for around 20 minutes, the engine bogs down to around 4,000 RPM. Also, when this happens, if I use the blinker trim, it bogs the motor down even more. I thought it was a fuel issue, but apparently not. Thoughts?
Well, there's a lot of things that can go wrong as far as a top end bog. The fact that you're able to get it to react when you're using the trim tells me you probably got a power issue to the computer. I would say that more than likely I would start looking at bad wires, maybe going to the main power relay, which is near the trim relays. Loose battery connections can do some stuff. I've seen some bad grounds cause some issues. I've actually seen that particular issue that you're talking about in a bad key switch as well. So if the computer's not getting the 12 to 14 volts, if it's not matching what the battery voltage is, the computer actually sees both those voltages. So there's a wire that goes in the computer that feeds off straight off the battery, and there's one that feeds off the main power relay. And if those numbers differ too much, it can starve the computer of the voltage it sends to all the other components, like your injectors, your coils, and things like that. So I would look for a wiring issue that's choking the voltage down.
So something as simple as the key.
Oh yeah, and you know.
I guess you got power running through that, right?
Yeah, and it feeds the computer the voltage to tell it you're okay to run. If it doesn't see a good, and sometimes you can have voltage and not enough amperage.
Okay.
So, but yeah, something that simple can cause some issues.
All right. All right, here's Sean's prop question. I want to switch from a 3-blade prop to a 4-blade. I see he added that in. I am currently running a 24-pitch 3-blade right at 6K, 74-ish miles per hour. What pitch 4-blade prop would I need to maintain those RPMs?
I guess I would preface this by saying why. I mean, why are you wanting to go to a 4-blade? More stability. So I know that if you add another blade, it's probably going to slow you down. If you're running a Mercury, like a Opti or something like that, and you're wanting to run a 4-blade, you're going to have to raise the motor a lot higher out of the water, because the more blades you have in the water, the slower you're going to be. So more than likely you'll stay the same pitch, but you'll have to raise the engine up. So, but the question I have is, what's your intention and why are you wanting to do a 4-blade? I don't know if you're having control issues with the boat, because sometimes it can help the stability of the boat.
Let's see here. Load carrying in rough water.
On a show?
2014 show.
Don't have a good answer. I haven't seen many 4-blades on the show, so I can't give you. It may stabilize the boat, but if you're going to use a Yamaha 4-blade, it's definitely going to slow you down.
Now, would that make a difference? Because Sean, I'm not sure. Obviously, mostly what we deal with is bass boats around here. Would that make a difference if I see he's on YouTube? So there may be a decent chance that maybe he's a deeper draft or a center console.
Yeah. Well, if he's running 74.
Yeah, he's probably not running a big boat. That's a good point.
Probably a bass boat.
Hey, look, it's been a long day, guys.
It's all right. I'm here for you.
All right.
The only way you're probably gonna have to run a Fury 4,
Okay.
or you're going to have to run a trophy. But you still to try to get speed out of it. I would definitely be against the trophy because you're not going to have near as much low back pressure on that prop. So the Stratus still on. Yeah. So when it comes to boats like that, it's really hard to say. But I would say that the the Fury 4 would be the way to go. I would probably do a 24, and you're gonna have to get that, especially on a Stratus. You have to get the motor up.
Okay.
So I don't know if you'll maintain the speeds, or you might get more speed out of it. I've seen people get a little bit more speed out of those Furies with a show on anything but a Skeeter.
Okay.
Skeeters don't seem to do as well with them.
All right.
What else we got?
John, can you discuss the inadequacy of the wiring in today's boats for later model high-tech graphs? What minimum gauge wiring should a boat be upgraded to in order to properly run these graphs?
I would say that most of the wiring at this point is probably inadequate, especially if you're running a Solus or
Panoptics.
Panoptics. Okay, so we pretty much bit the bullet, and we're throwing C-clear and everything. It's running multiple graphs. I mean, if you got two Helix 10s or 12s, I'm going to say that I put that on silent too. But if you run a Helix 12, two Helix 12s with nothing else, no 360 or anything, I would say that you could probably run 14 gauge wire through your boat and be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're running, non-mega stuff, yeah, if you're running non-megas, I think most of the Skeeters are probably going to be adequate, the newer Skeeters.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of the Falcons, I don't know if they're trickling in with bigger wire or not, but most of those have had 16 gauge wire in them. But I think they're going towards a 14 gauge. But C-clear is the way to go if you want clarity. If you don't want any choke going down the line, choking your amps off. So.
Well, and I guess the one thing I would throw in there is if you got to change wires, don't change. I mean, if you're going to go through the whole effort of doing all that, go ahead and put something that may prepare you for something bigger than that Helix 10 on down the road. But that's just my thought on.
Yeah, 13 Ranger's probably going to have just regular 16 gauge wire run for accessories. So.
All right.
And if you can get 12 gauge for around the same price as a 14 gauge wire, just go a little bit bigger, just for precautionary sakes.
So Arnold, sorry, see, I got to go back. So this is back to the question of the RPM drop on that Opti. Is this a fairly easy issue to resolve if hooked up to a computer?
Usually not. Unless you got some alarms buzzing. The computer, I can see some stuff on the computer. You have to kind of interpret the data on a computer if it's not throwing a buzzer. Buzzers are really nice. I like it when alarms go off because it kind of points me in the right direction. But otherwise, you have to put the computer on there and see if you have a voltage difference in voltage in different areas, like your 5-volt references. Sometimes it'll show two 5-volt references. One might be 3 volts and one's 5. So by knowing that, you got an issue. But typically, there's a lot of interpretation that has to be done, and then a lot of poking around, visual inspections and stuff like that.
All right. Timmy Taylor, always good for a question. Is it possible to get a factory wiring diagram for my 2020 Skeeter ZX250?
Absolutely not. Not going to happen, more likely. The closest wiring diagram you get now is on the FX R's. They got a little thing to show you how to hook up your trolling batteries and your cranking batteries. But I have to say that the older Rangers, that was really nice because when you lifted up the lid on those, you had the whole wire diagram. It wasn't in color or anything, but it would tell you where everything went. But as far as I know, there is no factory wiring diagram for the skeeters. I've tried to get some. They've never sent me any.
I wonder, Tammy, what do you want to figure out? I guess is
Sometimes you just want to know.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the good news is, most of the wires that Skeeter runs to their boat, it has an acronym for what it's for. So I will give them that. So if you pull up a pile of wires and there's a bunch of open ends, or even if it's butt connected to something, there will be a little label on there. It says like starboard, live well, and so on and so forth.
John Cox.
I twisted it for you today, John.
Nice.
My wife will not be proud.
You missed, John. You missed the question about the wiring setup for complicated, big graph setups these days. So John's got a pretty
hopefully
good,
attest to it. Hopefully it's still running smooth.
I hope so. It's about time for him to get out and start earning some money fishing that National Professional Fishing League. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions hop in here, and it's been a crazy day, which is why it's not 11:30 for us doing this. So, if y'all don't have anything else, you got anything else to share?
I noticed John Frank. I don't know where he's from, but he says he's going to look into sea clear. But if you're in this area, we have them in stock. So if you want to look at one of them here, feel free. But I don't know where you're from, so if you're in this area, hop by.
All right. It's too bad on the wiring diagram for my boat. It's good to have for basic knowledge of troubleshooting. Also for knowing how wiring.
Tim, you can just come pick my brain anytime you want. if you want me to help you troubleshoot something.
All right. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it. We're going to go back to the cold and get back to work. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope your team won last night if that's what you're into. Anywho's, guys, thank you so much for jumping on. We appreciate it, as always. And if you got any more questions, drop it in the comments, and we'll save it for next week or do what we can for you for now. But, one last plug. If you need service, probably call sooner rather than later.
Because we're already backed up.
Yep. It's it's a good problem to have for us, I guess. It is what it is. Yeah. So we're doing the best we can to keep up and keep everybody on the water. So hope if you get out and going fishing, hope you're safe and have a good time. We will talk to you guys later.